say thank you actually for coming out of the dorms because I'm really impressed with the crowd. So just help me in welcoming Justin Iburg, talking about his personal testimony with texting while driving.
Thank you. As she said, my name is Justin Iburg, and not the best public speaker by no means, but I'll do my best. So tonight I'm going to tell you a story that I thought would never ever happen to me. I'm just also known as just your average American kid. That's me in high school. I played football and played all through middle school and high school, and I absolutely loved it. I say that's me right there, the little arrow. I played lineman. Most people thought I was too tall and skinny to play lineman, but I held my own and I absolutely loved it. I live here in Mitchell. I say most everyone knows about Mitchell, so I'm not going to explain too much. I grew up on our second generation family farm just east of Mitchell. That's a picture of some cows that we raise, and that's mostly what we raise. We also do crops and hay, so just average small farm. I went to Mitchell Senior High School, and I graduated in 2008. I graduated with a class of about 186, I believe is what it was. Just had an average GPA of 3.5. I'm proud of it. Took as many general classes, but also took as many automotive and ag classes. I also participated in FFA and student auto skills. In FFA, I competed in ag mechanics, and in the competition at state, I got 7th place. And I was pretty proud of that. It was a gold place or gold medal honor, and since I was in the top 10, I won a free electric drill. I was pretty happy about that. In student auto skills, we also had a state competition, and me and my partner got 4th in state, so we thought we did all right. I absolutely love my family. This is a picture of when my older sister got married last year, and I'm going to start out in the back. That's Shelly. She's a sophomore in high school, and she's involved with everything. She's involved with volleyball, basketball, track, FFA, student ambassadors, and I don't know, there's something else, I'm sure. And then there's Jamie. She's a year older, and she's a junior in high school. She's not involved in quite so many stuff, but she still does volleyball, basketball, and FFA. And then the one in white, my older sister Shauna. She's a year older than me, and she went to school in Rapid City to be a vet tech. And when she graduated, she got a job at an emergency vet clinic in Rapid City, and she just had a baby not too long ago too, so I'm proud of her. Then there's Marcus. He went to school, and Shauna's husband, he went to school in Rapid City for marketing too, and they say he's got a job in marketing, and say there, living the dream. Then there's my mom. I absolutely love my mom. She's the best. She drives Pella City transit buses, and she picks up preschoolers every morning. She absolutely loves to be involved with the preschoolers. They love her too, so yeah, I don't blame them, because I absolutely love her too. Then there's my dad, Brian. He's a farmer, and I say he absolutely loves being a farmer. He is living the dream, I consider. And then there's also my church. It's Zion Lutheran Church. It's over by 3rd and Burr Street here in Mitchell. Gone there in my entire life, and I'm fairly active in there. I help out with the youth group, and also involved with Bible studies. When I was little, they had a church camp called Camp in Iburg, and I went there every year that I could. And when I got to be too old, well, I went as a counselor, and I got to lead everyone around. So I thought that was pretty fun. And then there's a picture, my senior picture. Me and my baby, it's a little pickup behind it. It's called Old Blue. That's what I named it. And I say I bought it in high school, and I say I fixed it up and been restoring it. And still working on it, so never get rid of it. I also like to be involved in anything outdoors. I like to hunt and help out on the farm. Here's my chance to show off a big buck I shot 2 falls ago. I shot him on our family farm, and right now he's hanging above the fireplace at home, so here's my chance to show off. I graduated from Southeast Community College in Milford, Nebraska. Milford is a tiny little town. It's just west of Lincoln, just on the outskirts. And there I took the John Deere Ag Tech program. I graduated in June of 2010, and I graduated with the class of 17. So there's my class. I work for Davidson County Implement. It's the local John Deere implement here in town. It was formerly called Ellison Implement, but I say it means we were a single store, and John Deere corporate wants multi-dealer stores. We were forced to sell out. CMB Operations is the company that bought us, and they're a fairly large company. They own 21 different John Deere dealerships throughout Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, Minnesota, and then there's 8 stores in South Dakota here. CMB is a really good organization. They've helped me out a lot. They actually had 4 different kickoff meetings, and that's where all the people or employees from all the stores go to a hotel or a convention center and have meetings all day, but then after they give us supper, and they allow me to do the same presentation after each one. And I did one in Fairmont, Minnesota, and then they flew me out to Idaho Falls and Billings, Montana, so I got to ride a company jet. And then I also did one in Yankton. The one in Yankton was in front of about 300 people, and it's probably the most nervous I've ever been in my life. So, now I'm going to like to take a moment to introduce you to a man I've known for a while, John Christensen. He's just also known as your average American father. He grew up in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and he moved to Mitchell later in his life. He raised his family right down the street from my family farm. He was a neighbor. He absolutely loved his wife Janine and his 2 children, Taylor and Cole. Taylor's in high school, and she's involved with cheerleading and softball. Cole is in middle school, and he's involved with wrestling, and he likes to ride dirt bikes. John absolutely loved his Camaro, and he loved racing. He also liked the outdoors and sporting activities. He worked for UPS as a preloader, and also at Hanson Wheel and Wagon. At Hanson Wheel and Wagon, he was the retail manager. He was the voice behind the phone. If any customers called out there, he's the guy that helped you. Hanson Wheel and Wagon, if you guys don't know, is the premier stagecoach shop where they restore and fabricate stagecoaches for large companies such as Budweiser and Wells Fargo. So you may have seen them on TV commercials. On Monday, September 20th, 2010, started out just as the average day. Woke up, ate breakfast, and just like any other day, headed into work and worked my 9 hours. And on the way home, I stopped to get some groceries at Walgreens, picked up a gallon of milk, candy bar while I was at it. On the way out of town, on the way home, there was road construction. They had a pilot car set up, and as I approached the pilot car, my cell phone went off. So, like any other time, I reached into my pocket, pulled it out. I looked down and started to read the text message. As I was reading it, I heard a crash. came to, I realized I had crashed into a vehicle. I didn't know what I crashed into, I knew I had a crash. I say when I came to, I saw huge flames through the windshield. That day I ran into 3 vehicles. The first vehicle was driven by Rachel Nichols, and she was driving a car. She was first in line. She was the one up waiting. Behind her was Doug Dagan. He was driving a pickup. Doug was also a neighbor. He lived between my family farm and where John raised his family. Between Doug and I was John on his motorcycle. On impact, John was thrown from his motorcycle. This is what the Daily Republic reported the next day. Mitchell man died in a 4-vehicle crash shortly after 7 p.m. on South Dakota Highway 38, 3 miles east of Mitchell. John B. Christensen, 44, was riding a Kawasaki motorcycle. He was stopped behind 2 other vehicles at a road construction site when a 1999 Chevy S10 pickup driven by Justin Ryan Everett, 20 of Mitchell, collided with the motorcycle. The collision threw Christensen from his motorcycle. The impact caused a chain reaction where vehicle number 3 struck vehicle number 2, vehicle 2 then struck vehicle number 1. When asked by the officer what happened, I said that I had been distracted with my cell phone. On that day, so many lives were changed. For John, he lost his life. This is a obituary. John B. Christensen, age 44 of Mitchell, died Monday, September 20th, 2010, at a Sanford Emergency Facility in Sioux Falls. Funeral services will be 11 a.m. Sunday, September 25th, at the First Lutheran Church in Mitchell. Visitation will be from 6 to 8 p.m. Friday at the First Lutheran Church. John was born on March 26, 1966 in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, to Robert and Barbara Christensen. He grew up as a young child and attended school in Manchester, Iowa. At age 12, he moved to Mitchell. In middle school and high school, his activities were football, basketball, and part of the 1984 state basketball championship team. He graduated in 1984 and attended Northern State University. He later graduated in 1989 and returned to Mitchell, where he met his future wife, Janine Kane. John and Janine were married on September 21st, 1991 in Mitchell. John was employed as a UPS as a preloader and also office manager at Hanson Mill Wagon. His hobbies included drag racing, cars, hunting, and especially his children's sporting activities. He is survived by his wife Janine of Mitchell, 2 children, Taylor and Cole, his parents Robert and Barbara of Lake Okeechobee, Florida, 2 sisters, Ann Lindman and her husband Tracy of Ethan, South Dakota, and Sue Christensen of Denver, Colorado. Father and mother-in-law Tom and Judy Kane of Sioux Falls. For me, I had no cell phone, I had no vehicle, and I was being indicted with 2 charges. Second-degree manslaughter with 10 years maximum in prison, and reckless driving, 1 year maximum in county jail. About a month later, the sheriff asked me to turn myself in at the county courthouse, where I turned myself in and they read me my rights and what I was being charged with. So after that, I had to find a lawyer. With some family help, I found one and we went to court. We pled not guilty and asked for a trial by jury. They scheduled a jury 5 months later. When the trial came, I had to watch as all the witnesses came up and testified against me. On my own defense, I got up on the stand and told the judge and the jury the same story I just told you guys. After waiting for about 3 hours after closing statements, the jury finally came with the back of the verdict. On second-degree manslaughter, I was acquitted. I was found not guilty. But I was convicted and found guilty of reckless driving. When sentencing came, the judge gave me the maximum. 1 year in jail and no license for 30 days. But then he gave me a choice. I could voluntarily give up my license for 5 years, and I would only have to do 100 days in jail. I would also have to do 25 distracted driving presentations, just like this one. I'd have to follow the terms of 2 years probation. I chose to give up my license for 5 years. For you guys, it's my goal to convince you not to text and drive. If you're traveling 40 miles per hour, look down for just 1 second, as long as you took to read this. How far will you travel? 58 feet. The time it takes you to read this message, you'll travel over the length of a football field at 60 miles per hour. A football field in 4 seconds. Save it for later. You can wait. What's more important, a text message or someone's life? You are 23 times more likely to crash while texting and driving. That's 23 times. That's not twice as likely or 10 times as likely. It's very dangerous. It can happen to anyone. Studies have shown that distracted driving, and that's not just texting and driving, but eating or drinking food, changing the radio station, talking to your friends or people in the back seat, attending kids, anything that takes your eyes off the road. It impairs your judgment just as much as what alcohol does. It's not worth dying for. Don't let this be you. Any questions? Seriously, I want someone to ask.
Have you done your jail time or?
Yeah, I had.
How was it for you?
It wasn't fun.
Wasn't at all?
The worst part about it is that you have no freedom. You can't just see your family whenever you want. They have to come see you, and they only get to see you through a glass window about that big. And also on the phone, you have to pay for the phone just to use it. You don't use it during certain times of the day. It's not fun at all. Anyone else?
How do you get to work in like railroad school?
Well, I have a really good boss, and he lives just down the street from my apartment, so he picks me up every day. How do I get around? Well, I walk. That's what I did tonight. I walked from my apartment to here. Anywhere else, it's usually my little sisters. They're in high school and they can drive, so say I chip in for gas and they take me wherever I need to go. So I'm really glad that I live close to a family and have a really good boss. Unfortunate. Anyone else?
Was there a specific moment of closure for you
What do you mean closure?
as far as moving on past the accident?
You can't really just move on. I don't know. Time helps, but I don't know. It also feels good to share. I mean, I feel guilty that I took a man's life, but I feel responsible that I should try to save other people's lives by doing this. Say if I can save one person's life, then it's all worth it. Anyone else?
Was the motorcycle driver when he told it?
Yes, he was.
Did you talk to the family of the guy after the accident?
I have not. It was shortly before the funeral. Me and my pastor called the family and jail, I wrote a letter apologizing to the family. So that's the only contact I've had with them since.
Did they ever answer you back or no?
I have not had any
No.
responses back, I guess. So.
What presentation number is this?
This is my 14th one, so I'm on the downward slide, I guess. Another common question following that question is usually, do I plan on keeping on going after 25? And I do. I won't be out calling schools to do presentations, but if anyone approaches me, I'll definitely do one for them. So I'm hoping that the more schools that I do, that the more it gets out, and the more people come to see me. Anyone else?
How many years without a license have you been so far?
April 20th will be 1 year, so not quite a year. Anyone else? Another thing that I've done is I've made a Facebook page. Let's say there I have a video of the presentation I did in Yankton in front of about 300 people. It's quite similar to this one, but not quite. It was in front of coworkers and fellow employees that I have to include the slide about where I work because everyone knew where I work. I also got some like facts and stuff up there, and I also put up anything where if I'll be like my next schools that I plan on going to, I include that on there. So. See, another thing that I've done is, like I said, it's not as good as I want, but it's a window sticker. It's a sticker that you put on your driver's side door, just above the door handle. It's basically a reminder to not text and drive every time you open the door. So I have plenty of those to give out. Take more than one if you want to share it with your friends or anything like that. So that's what I guess that's my impact.
Can you talk a little bit about your thoughts and feelings when you had to listen to the victim's family in court?
I've never had that question before. Yeah, it was very difficult. At the time, my lawyer basically told me not to show any emotions, so I did my best not to show any emotions. What I was feeling was that I was feeling guilty. I took a man's life. I obviously didn't want to do 10 years in prison, much less any time in prison or jail or anything like that. So, I mean, I didn't want to do anything like that. But so when sentencing came, I had said that I would do such things as these presentations. So, I'm sure the judge took that into consideration. That's maybe why he made it a term of my probation. Anyone else?
Justin, can you talk a little bit about, expand on your time in jail and some of the freedoms lost and what you thought about while you were sitting incarcerated?
Well, when there's no freedoms, you have a lot to think about. I don't know, basically you have no outside communication with anyone really. You have no internet, you have no Facebook, no email. Really the only way to get anything from the outside is through the mail or through a 15-minute conversation on the phone. When I first went there, I was really scared. I'd never been in any serious amount of trouble. From what I heard, it was scary. It kind of was. I'd say it wasn't enjoyable at all. So. Anything else?
Before you went to jail, Justin, did you think of yourself as any different than many of the young people, young adults sitting in this room? That you would have thought of yourself as different than the type of people that sat in jail?
Well, before I went to jail, I thought bad people went to jail, and I didn't consider myself a bad person at all. I just, the average kid, just like you guys. I guess, yeah, I never thought I'd ever see myself going to jail, and I never thought I'd see myself being a public speaker either, but I guess time has told, and I definitely am. When I was making this presentation, a lot of things came back from speech class, so the little I paid attention, I'm glad I absorbed what I did. Anyone else? Well, thank you guys for coming. I'll give some stickers out to anyone that would like them. If you have like a church organization or know of any in your hometown schools or anything like that, that would maybe be a good place to do a presentation, I'd welcome the invitation, or maybe contact or something like that would be